Um, Today in the Senate, my bill to legalise cannabis under Commonwealth law will be debated for 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's high time we woke up in Australia to the fact that cannabis is being legalised around the world, and what I'm attempting to do is advance the debate. It's unlikely it'll go to a vote. I'd rather leave the bill live on the notice paper, but there will be a lot of time for both the Labor Party and coalition, of course the other parties, to consider it, because it'll go through until 12:20. Cannabis is of course less harmful than alcohol, and it makes no sense to maintain a policy of prohibition. On Friday I attended a summit in Sydney at which Sir Richard Branson was present. He's come to exactly the same conclusion: that a prohibition policy is a failure. It doesn't really matter whether you like or don't like drugs, whether you approve or don't approve of them, prohibition policy is failing. So my bill this morning, which will be debated, is an attempt to try and force the issue a little bit further towards a position of sanity. My understanding is that that legislation's been on the books now for quite a few years. As far as I'm aware, nobody has used it, and I can't see why we can't just let schools do what they're currently doing. I can't think of any reason why you would want to discriminate, but ultimately governments interfering in discrimination by private organisations and private individuals is overreach, and it's not needed. Governments should worry about their own discrimination and not the discrimination of others. Yeah, I wouldn't want any schools to be discriminating, but it's not the government's business. It's a private matter for the private schools, and as long as the government itself is not discriminating, because that would be inequality before the law, I don't see that it's the government. Well, it will be difficult if they don't maintain their majority, but they've got a couple of people they can count on in the House for confidence and supply, so I'd be surprised if it prompts an early election unless something else happens as well. There's Cathy McGowan and Bob Katter, for example, who I think have promised the government that they won't precipitate an early election by withdrawing support for supply. So it'll be awkward for the government, but we've been there before. The Gillard government also was in minority, and they managed to survive.